If there was ever something that I ate a lot of when I was young, it was tacos. Now, this was long before I learned about authentic Mexican food. We're talking about the kind of tacos that are in crispy shells, that are kind of an idea of what a real taco is, and something that kids love because they get involved. Now, when I was little, we did not have turkey, but I'm using turkey in mine. Why? Because we're updating it a little bit, and turkey is super healthy, and I just noticed that more and more people are adverse to having beef. I'm not. But I've learned to love turkey too. And so if you like turkey, this is a good way to, make a different filling. So I chopped one onion here, and I'm just getting it into the pan to saute before the turkey goes in. And meanwhile, over here, I am going to prepare a few things. Now, you might see all these little bowls over here. That's another way to make things interesting for kids. And that is you take all the toppings and you put them in a bunch of different bowls. And then when it's taco time, your kid has the chance to make their own taco, to really design their own and get involved with all the colors and all the flavors. But I'm still somebody that's going to want, for the adults who are eating, to have a little something. So I'm making something here called pico de gallo, which is just a little sauce that's super simple, that has some spice. Kids don't have to eat it, but I want to eat it. So I have one tomato here, and I've just taken the seeds out of it so I can make a nice clean chop of these pieces of tomato here. And this is a very basic salsa. So just chop it in small pieces. And then to that you want to have an onion, and that's the same thing. You just want to get the onion in there. And a chili. And in my case here, I have a serrano chili. I'll cut that last. So I just take my onion, chop it, and this onion over here just has to be stirred now and then. So I'm going to put a half of an onion in here. Depends on how big it is. I want it to really be about the ratio, which is the way you should think about something like this. You don't want too much onion, you don't want too much tomato. And then you've got your chili here. This is a serrano chili. It's very spicy. If you're concerned about that, you need to take out the seeds. Since this is the thing I'm going to have for the adults, or at least those folks that like spice, I'm not going to take out the seeds. I'm just going to make long strips and mince it. And please be sure, if you're cutting the way I'm cutting right now, that you wash your hands, you wash your board, you wash your knife, so that you don't accidentally get some of that spice in your eyes. Now, because you might not be too sure how sweet your tomato is, just put in a little pinch of sugar. Not so it's sugary, but just to give it a little bit of a pinch. Then you give some salt. For this much, I would use about a half a teaspoon of salt, and then some white vinegar. White vinegar, not too much. And what's going to happen here is the tomatoes are going to let out some of their liquid, and then the whole thing is going to combine to make a nice spicy sauce that's going to make the adults at the dinner very happy, or at least, like I said, the adults who like spice. I've got one more little piece of tomato I'm going to put in here, keeping an eye on my onions. And now I think it's time I can get this turkey right in here. Just plop it in. And like I said, I very much like to use a combination of dark meat and light meat. I'm going to get this cooking with the onions. I've learned a lot about authentic tacos and that kind of thing, and I still have a special place in my heart for this dish. And it's browned up and it's cooked. So to this I'm going to add a tablespoon of chili powder. Old school chili powder. Like I said, this is just a wonderful kid-friendly taco bar that I'm making. So I just put in 1 tablespoon of tomato paste, and I'm putting in a cup of chicken broth. And that's just going to give it a little bit more cooking time. It's going to bring in all these little pieces on the bottom, and it'll make it a little bit creamy, and that's going to be the basis for our taco filling. So I'm just going to leave this here for a second to cook away. And the only other thing I have to do is season this up, so I'm going to put in about a teaspoon of salt. That should be enough. We don't need to over-salt it, but we definitely want it to have some flavor. That's another thing. You want your kids to eat your food? Make it taste good. Season it properly. That's important. So look at all these beautiful things I've got going here. Remember, I made this pico de gallo, which is a little spicy salsa. That would be for the adults and the adventurous kids in the group. I have some grated cheese here. You could use cheddar or Monterey Jack. And then I have some tomatoes that I've just chopped up, and this is what it's about, making a taco bar, a kid-friendly taco bar. And then one more thing that I like to do here is take an avocado. You could just slice an avocado if you wanted and just put it on just like this. But I think it's kind of fun to mash an avocado. So it kind of goes halfway between guacamole and sliced avocado. And then you can flavor it yourself. Ooh, that's a beauty. And by the way, with avocados, if you're really counting on having an avocado that you're gonna love, get 2. Because how many times do you dig into a fresh avocado and it's all brown and you don't really know until you dig in? Get that pit out, just knock your knife in there and turn it and you can get it right out. Get this in here. So for this, I think what I'm gonna do is just put a little bit of lime juice in this. Just season it a little bit with some lime juice, just squeeze it in there. Maybe a little bit of salt. And then I'll just mash it up a little bit. And from here, you could just add some sour cream if you wanted to make it creamy. But I'm gonna keep it just a little bit chunky. And I'm gonna add some cilantro. Because I wanna just have a little bit of cilantro in there. And that's it. We put together pretty much, I think, a no-fail kid menu without having to do anything special. Filling up with cheese and lettuce and everything is fine. I mean, that's a really good taco, and if you wanted to, for a vegetarian, I'd do the same deal here, only I would use beans. All right, so you want to build your own taco?
Yes.
Okay, so we're using hard-shelled tacos here. This is like kind of old-fashioned, and I'm gonna put a little bit in here for you, a little bit of the meat.
Love it.
This is turkey that's been cooked, and then what you do is you go in here and you just put anything else you want to put on top.
I'm gonna first put some cheese.
You said cheese, yep. Let's see, I'm gonna put some in, and then you can, the only thing is this is spicy. That's the spicy sauce.
I don't like any spicy.
Okay, so don't go for that one. See, that's what it is. She can have no spicy, I can have spicy.